Hi students, I am your maths teacher. In today's class, we are going to revise about complex number and I am going to teach you the sums based on the concepts. Students, in chapter 2 complex number, we are going to see few concepts and based on that we are going to do the sums now. The first one is powers of imaginary unit I. So for I, if I am going to give the power like this, I to the power 0 means 1, I to the power 1 I square, that is I into I means minus 1, I cube minus I to the power 4, 1. I square means minus 1 and I to the power 4 is 1. Similarly for the negative value also they are given you the values. Just is going to be the opposite of the signs. And this is the important concept here. What is the concept is, you are going to use, based on this we are going to do a sum. Just keep this in your mind. I to the power n, if they are asking you to calculate, means I to the power 4q plus k, that is n is equal to 4q plus k. The range of k is 0 less than or equal to k less than 4. And we will be splitting in this model and we will be calculating the value for I to the power k. And I will tell you how to do in your sum. Coming to the rectangle form of a complex number. So in your question, if they are going to ask you this particular word, write in the rectangular form or find the value in rectangular form, means this is the procedure. A complex number is of the form x plus iy. The meaning of rectangular form is x plus iy, where x and y are real numbers. Here x is the real part and y is the imaginary part of the complex number. Coming to equality property. When I will be using the concept equal, when two complex numbers are said to be equal, that is, I am going to take two complex number, z1 equal to x1 plus iy1 and z2 is equal to x2 plus iy2 are said to be equal if and only if real part of z1 is equal to real part of z2 and imaginary part of z1 is equal to imaginary part of z2. That is, x1 is equal to x2 and y1 equal to y2. The meaning is, I am comparing the real part of two complex number and imaginary part of two complex number. Exercise 2.1. The first question is I to the power 1947 plus I to the power 1950. This is the condition given here. And now only we saw the formula here, students. That is I to the power n is equal to 4q plus k. And that is a model I told you. I to the power n is equal to I to the power 4q plus k. That is the concept you are going to use. What I have done here is 1947 I am going to divide by 4 table. While I am dividing, I will be getting a value like this. Remainder I am going to take it as k and 1947 I am going to take it as n. The top value I am going to take it as q. You are going to replace in this place, students. After replacing, that is 4q plus k. This is the model. 4q plus k. Power is in the form of addition. If you split, you can write it in the form of multiplication. I am just splitting it. I to the power 4 into that particular value and I to I cube. I to the power 4 is 1. 1 to the power 486 is again going to be 1. I to the power 3, now only we saw the value minus I. Calculate, you will get the answer as minus I. Similarly, coming for I to the power 1950, same way you are going to divide, do the calculation, you will get the answer as minus 1. You are going to simplify this one and after simplifying, you will be getting a value like this. That is real part, imaginary part, minus 1 minus I. Exercise 2.2, in that we are going to do the third sum now, students. That is, third question, what is the question given here is, find the values of the real numbers x and y. They are asking you to find the values of x and y if the complex number, they are given you two sets of complex number are equal. They are given you the condition, the two given complex number are equal. Using this particular condition, we are going to find the value for x and y. Students, they are given you two set of complex number and I am going to name the two set of complex number as z1 and z2. After naming, they are given you the condition, it is equal. So I'm just comparing like this, Z1 equal to Z2. I'm just writing the values as it is. Left hand side Z1 and right hand side I'm writing the value for Z2. Next step what I'm doing here is I'm just making a rearrangement, that is wherever I'm going to have I, that particular value I'm going to arrange it separately, that is real part plus I into, that is I means imaginary part, equal to, similarly right hand side real part plus imaginary part. Equating real part means I'm going to take these two values, that is left hand side equal to right hand side, compare, you will be getting an expression x minus y equal to minus 2. Similarly, we are going to compare the imaginary part, that is equating imaginary part, compare, you will be getting equation 2 here students. You are going to solve those two equations. After solving by using elimination method, you are going to solve. After solving, you can calculate in any way. Elimination method is up to you. You will be getting the answer for y equal to 1 and x is equal to minus 1. So, therefore, the values of the real number is x is equal to minus 1 and y equal to 1. Exercise 2.4, fifth question. It's going to be in the form of theory part students. Just I will explain you. If z is real, if and only if z equal to z bar. So, what is the concept they are telling here is, in complex number, we are having only the real part, then automatically what is the meaning is imaginary part is absent in this place. If and only if means, I am just going to have like this. First I am going to take the question, z is real, I am going to prove z equal to z bar. Conversely, if z equal to z bar is a given condition means, then I have to prove that z is real. Just I will explain you. First I am going to take this condition. Assume that z is real. Real means, what is the actual form of complex number z equal to x plus iy. Z is real means, for real part alone I am having the value, imaginary part is 0. That is why I am writing like this, x plus 0i. Let z equal to x plus iy and z bar means conjugate x minus iy. So z bar, instead of I am going to replace the value as 0. That is, I am going to just put like this, z bar if you calculate, you will get the value as x. So, z bar equal to x means automatically the value for z is also x. So, z equal to z bar. Conversely, assume that z equal to z bar, compare the values like this. If you calculate this one, you will get the answer as x minus iy. Simplify, you will be getting the value as y equal to 0. So, what is the meaning of y equal to 0? That is, imaginary part is not there. Imaginary part is 0. So, only the real part exists in the given condition. Similarly, they have given you this format. Second part, real part of z, we are going to bring this answer. Re means real part of z. Actually, z is equal to x plus iy, z bar x minus iy. Real part of z means I am going to take only the real part x. Real part, left hand side I am getting the answer as x, and right hand side also, while I am solving, I should get the answer as x. I am getting the answer as x. From 1 and 2, after comparing, I can say that real part, that is left hand side equal to right hand side. Both the answers are same. Similarly, coming to the imaginary part, also we are going to do like this. Imaginary part means I am going to take y students, and similarly you are going to solve this one. After solving, you will get the answer as y. From 1 and 2, imagine left hand side equal to right hand side.
Modulus of z1 plus z2 the whole square can be written like this. That is, I am going to use this property students, that is modulus of z square is equal to z bar. Z into z bar. In place of z what I am having, z1 plus z2. So I am going to write like this, z1 plus z2 into z1 plus z2 the whole bar. Please understand the concept. I am using this property, that is modulus of z square. In this place I am having it as modulus of z1 plus z2 the whole square, which can be written in this way. Second, what I am going to do is modulus of z1 plus z2 into, I am writing this as it is. This bar sign can be written like this, that is z1 the whole bar plus z2 the whole bar. I am splitting this into 2. I am splitting this bar sign into 2. Next what I am going to do is I am going to multiply the complex numbers, that is Z1 into Z1 bar, Z1 into Z2 bar. Like this I am going to multiply. Just see the terms how I am going to write. Z1 bar plus Z1 Z2 bar plus, without changing the order you are going to write. Next one Z2 Z1 bar plus Z2 Z2 bar. Now again I am going to use this property, that is Z bar can again be written as modulus of Z bar the whole square. So these two places can be written as modulus of Z bar the whole square. So just see here how I am going to write, that is modulus of Z1 the whole square plus, I am going to write these two values inside the bracket, that is Z1 Z2 bar plus Z2 Z1 bar plus modulus of Z2 the whole square. Now I am going to see the values inside the bracket, students. I am going to target only on Z2. Now just I am going to use this property. We know that you can write like this, that is Z can be written as Z bar the whole bar. Z which can be written as Z bar the whole bar, that is Z, we can write like this. So in place of Z2 I am going to write like this, Z2 bar the whole bar, double bar I am going to write. Why I am going to write like this is, I want to write in this format, that is Z1 Z2 bar. The second term inside the bracket should be also in this model, that is Z1 Z2 bar. So in this place is very important. Just see here how I am going to write, that is modulus of Z1 the whole square plus Z1 Z2 bar plus Z1 Z2 bar. Just see here students, both the terms will be looking same, but Z1 Z2 bar whole bar. Now see here, without changing the meaning I am writing the term, that is Z1 bar is as it is, Z2 bar the whole bar is nothing but again Z2 plus, what is the last term, modulus of Z2 the whole square. If you are going to write, if you are going to make any mistake in this place, you can't prove this theorem, students. So be careful in this place, do the calculation correctly. Next what I am going to do is I am going to take another one property, that is we know that a real part of Z, R is nothing but real part of Z is nothing but Z plus Z bar by 2. Now if I am going to cross multiply this 2, shall I write like this, that is 2 real part of Z is equal to Z plus Z bar. So in place of Z plus Z bar I am having this value, that is Z plus Z bar. Just imagine, in place of Z I am having it as Z1 Z2 bar in my theorem. So just see students how I am going to write. I am going to replace this concept in this place, that is modulus of Z1 the whole square plus 2 real part of Z1 Z2 bar plus modulus of Z2 the whole square. I hope that you are understanding the concept, students. So just take some time to analyze this one. Instead of Z I am having the values Z1 Z2 bar. That is why I am writing the second term also in the form of Z1 Z2 bar. I am using this property, 2 into real part of Z is equal to Z plus Z bar, students. Now what I am going to do is, again I am going to use another one property here, that is in this place I am going to use the property, that is a real part of Z is nothing but is less than or equal to modulus of Z. Real part of Z can be written as less than or equal to modulus of Z. If you notice properly, when I am starting my calculation to prove this property, I am using only equal to signs. Till now I didn't bring less than or equal to. In my question I am having it as less than or equal to. Still I didn't bring the less than or equal to sign. Real part of z is less than or equal to modulus of z. Now I am going to use this formula, that is real part of z I am going to replace it as less than or equal to modulus of z. This sign I am going to write it in front. Less than or equal to modulus of z1 the whole square will be as it is, plus 2, instead of real part of z I am going to write like this, modulus of z1 z2 bar plus modulus of z2 bar the whole square, students. Now if you see here which is less than or equal to, just observe the formula. I am going to use this algebraic formula. That is, what is the algebraic formula we are having here? That is a square plus 2ab plus b square can be written as a plus b the whole square. In place of a I am writing it as modulus of z1, and in place of b I am writing it as modulus of z2. So shall I write like this, students? That is, just open the bracket, modulus of z1 plus modulus of z2 the whole square, that is a plus b the whole square, can be written a square plus 2ab plus b square, which is written as a plus b the whole square. This less than or equal to, I am writing it as it is. This is your right hand side, but left hand side, what is the value I am having here? That is modulus of z1 plus z2 the whole square. If I am going to take square root on both sides, that is taking square root on both sides, we get modulus of z1 plus z2 is less than or equal to modulus of z1 plus modulus of z2. Just observe the property, that is, this is the required triangle inequality property, that is modulus of z1 plus modulus of z2 is less than or equal to modulus of z1 plus modulus of z2, students. In general, we have proved only for two complex numbers. Hence, we can prove for n complex numbers, that is, in general, I can tell it as modulus of z1 plus modulus of z2 plus etc. plus modulus of zn can be written as modulus of z1 plus modulus of z2 plus etc. till modulus of zn. And this is the required proof for triangle inequality. To see the both sum. If modulus of z equal to 3, show that they are asking you to show this condition. First, what I am going to do is I am going to use a formula here, students, that is modulus of z1 plus z2 is less than or equal to modulus of z1 plus modulus of z2. So what is the property, this one? This is known as triangle inequality. Before this, I am going to write another thing, that is modulus of z1 minus modulus of z2. Using this property, I am going to prove this sum. First, what I am going to do is, I am going to take this side, that is, I am going to take my right hand side part. Consider modulus of z1 plus z2 is less than or equal to modulus of z1 plus modulus of z2. I am going to take this question. What is the question given here? I am going to take this question, that is modulus of 6 plus z plus 6 minus 8i. I am going to take this one, students. So how I am going to fix my z1 and z2? Here I am going to take this z as z1 and 6 minus 8i as z2. Now just see here, what I am going to do is, which is less than or equal to modulus of z plus modulus of 6 minus 8i. which is nothing but less than or equal to, what is the value for modulus of z given here? Modulus of z equal to 3. In place of modulus of z, I am going to replace the value as 3 plus, what is the property for modulus of real part, imaginary part? That is a real part the whole square plus imaginary part is minus 8. That is minus 8 the whole square. And what is the answer I am going to get here, students? 3 plus root of 36 plus 8 8s are 64, which is nothing but less than or equal to 3 plus root of, you will get the value as 100, which is nothing but less than or equal to 3 plus 10, which is nothing but less than or equal to 13. So what is the answer I am getting here? Modulus of 6 z plus 6 minus 8i is less than or equal to 13. Mark it as equation 1. I am just getting my right hand side part. I am getting the value as 13, which is required answer in the given question. Left hand side I should bring the answer as 7. What I am going to do is I am going to take this part. This part of the formula I am going to take. Just see here how I am going to take here is, consider modulus of z1 minus modulus of z2 is less than or equal to modulus of z1 plus modulus of z2. I am going to keep it as it is and I am going to do the calculation. Z1, what is the value for Z1? I have fixed here, students. Z1 is nothing but, according to the question, it is going to be Z, and Z2 is nothing but 6 minus 8i. I am not going to go for big calculation, just see here. I will do it in a simple step. Modulus of, what is the value here? Modulus of Z minus modulus of 6 minus 8i is less than or equal to modulus of Z plus 6 minus 8i, which is nothing but modulus of z, what is the value? 3 minus, now only I calculated, what is the answer I am getting for modulus of 6 minus 8i, students? I am getting the value as 10, which is nothing but 10 is less than or equal to modulus of 6 8i, which is nothing but, what is the value? 3 minus 10 is nothing but minus 7, modulus of minus 7 less than or equal to modulus of z plus 6 minus 8i, which is nothing but modulus of minus 7 can be written as 7. Important, modulus of minus 7 meaning is 7, which is less than or equal to modulus of 6 z plus 6 minus 8i. Mark it as equation 2. You are going to compare from 1 and 2. I am going to get the value as, from 1 and 2 you will get the value as 7 less than or equal to modulus of z plus 6 minus 8i less than or equal to 13. Exercise 2.5, fifth sum. What is the question given here, students? If modulus of z equal to 1, they are asking you to show that 2 less than or equal to modulus of z square minus 3 less than or equal to 4. We are going to use the property which is used in the fourth sum. The same thing I am going to take here. I am going to take this part first. That is, I am going to take this part. Consider modulus of z1 plus z2 is less than or equal to modulus of z1 plus modulus of z2. In place of z1, I am going to replace z square, and in place of z2, I am going to take the value as minus 3. That is why I have written here, students. You are going to apply it. Just note this part. Modulus of z square can be written as modulus of z the whole square. And what is the value for modulus of z given here? Equal to 1. So I am going to replace like this. That is 1 square plus 3, which is nothing but 1 plus 3 equal to 4. And that is the required answer in your right hand side part. And now we are going to find the next one. Next condition I am using here, students. Next, if I am using a same way, I am going to calculate. Just be careful. Modulus of minus 3 is nothing but 3. Again, I am having a negative sign here. Go do the simplification. Finally, you will get like this. Modulus of minus 2, which is nothing but 2. Comparing 1 and 2, you will get the required answer which is given in your question. Next, we are going to move on to the seventh sum. Exercise 2.5 7 sum. If Z1, Z2 and Z3 are three complex numbers such that modulus of Z1 equal to 1, modulus of Z2 equal to 2 and modulus of Z3 equal to 3 and modulus of Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 equal to 1, they are asking you to show this particular value equal to 6. What I am going to do is I am going to take these three conditions first. I am writing here, students. Let me explain this one. That is modulus of Z1 equal to 1. I'm going to take squaring on both sides. If I'm going to take squaring on both sides, I'll get like this: modulus of Z1 the whole square equal to 1 square. Modulus of Z1 square can be written as Z1 bar equal to 1. That which is nothing but Z1 equal to 1 divided by Z1 bar. Similarly, we are going to do for Z2 and Z3. After doing these values, just for our calculation, we are taking like this. After taking, I am going to see my left hand side. Left hand side is going to be my question, and right hand side I am going to bring this answer 6. Coming to the left hand side part, left hand side I am taking the question. First I am going to take Z1 into Z2. Z1, just see here, Z1 into Z2 equal to, what is the value for Z1? 1 divided by Z1 bar, and Z2, what is the value? 4 divided by Z2 bar. Multiply, you will get the value like this: 4 divided by Z1 bar into Z2 bar. Similarly, I am multiplying Z1 into Z3 and Z2 into Z3. I will be getting the value like this. If you see the numerator you will be having 36. I am going to take it common outside. That is, modulus of 36 will be 36. And the denominator, you will be getting the value like this. I am going to take 36 outside. After taking 36 outside, I will be getting the value like this. You are going to make the denominator same. That is I am going to divide and multiply by Z3 bar, Z2 bar and Z1 bar to adjust in such a way to get the denominator value like this. After that, you are going to do the simplification. You are going to apply the properties. After applying the property, I am going to substitute the value which is given in your question. That is, modulus of Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 equal to 1 and the respective values. Finally, you will get the answer as 6, which is the required answer in your right hand side part. Exercise 2.5 10th sum. They are asking you to find the square root for this particular value. Before that, to find the square root of a complex number, I am going to use this particular formula, students. This is the real part, and plus this is going to be your imaginary part. And in this, you are going to note, if b is negative, then b divided by modulus of b equal to minus 1, then x and y have different sign. The meaning for this one is the final answer you will have different sign, they are telling you. Similarly, if b is positive, means b divided by modulus of b equal to 1, that x and y have same sign. Take the question, write the question: root of minus 6 plus 8i. Here the value for a equal to minus 6, b equal to 8 and modulus of z, if you calculate, you will get the answer as 10. Then after applying the formula, you are going to simplify the term. Just simplify the term. 8 mod 8 is nothing but it's going to be 8. Here you are going to get a positive value, so automatically your final answer will also be positive. Just do the calculation, students. Finally you will get the answer like this. You can stop up to like this. 6 fourth sum. Fourth sum, we are going to use this formula, that is modulus of z minus z naught equal to r. This represents the equation of a circle in a complex number, that is z minus z naught equal to r. Z0 is nothing but center and r is the radius. We are going to do the calculation based on this formula, that is modulus of z minus z0 equal to r. In the question 4, I am going to take the third one. Third one, they are given you this question, that is modulus of 3z minus 6 plus 12i equal to 8. I am going to bring this particular question in this form. So what I am going to do here is, first I am going to take 3, that is I am going to take this 3 common outside, because in place of z I should not have any other value other than 1. So what I am going to do here is 3 z 3, I am taking 3 common outside inside the modulus, 3 into z minus 2 plus 4i equal to 8. Next, what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to take this 3 outside the modulus. That is, I'm going to split the modulus into 2. That is, modulus of 3 into modulus of z minus 2 plus 4i equal to 8. Modulus of 3 is nothing but 3. So, I'm going to cross multiply the term. If I cross multiply, I will get like this. That is, z minus 2 plus 4i equal to 8 divided by modulus of 3 can be written as 3. So till this I hope you are understanding, students. Next, what I am going to do is, if you observe here, you are going to have negative sign, that is z minus z naught. So in this place I am going to write like this, modulus of z. I am going to take this negative outside. That is, if you are going to take negative sign outside means I will be getting like this, 2 minus 4i equal to 8 by 3. So it is of the form, that is modulus of z minus z naught equal to r. So in place of z naught you are having this value, and in place of r I am having it as 8 by 3. Therefore, center z naught equal to 2 minus 4i and radius r equal to 8 by 3. Next, we are moving on to the last sum, that is the fifth question. Exercise 2.6, fifth sum. So, fifth sum, what is the question? First question, they are asking you to find the Cartesian equation, students. That is, I told you, it will be in the form of equation. That is, first one, what is the thing they are given you? Modulus of z minus 4 equal to 16. In place of z, I am going to replace the value as x plus iy. Same thing we are going to do here. After replacing, what I am doing here, I am just arranging the real part and imaginary part separately inside the modulus. After arranging, what is the formula we will be applying for x plus iy? Modulus of x plus iy is nothing but root of x square plus y square. That is real part the whole square plus imaginary part the whole square. The same way I am done here. Real part the whole square. Root of square root of real part the whole square plus imaginary part the whole square equal to 16. Taking the square root to other side, you will be getting it as power 16 square. Then what I am doing here is, I am applying the algebraic formula, that is exercise 2.6 second sum. They are given you this question. Im means imaginary part. We are going to bring, that is, they are asking you to show that you're going to have this answer, that is 2x square plus 2y square plus x minus 2y equal to 0. I'm going to bring this answer. First, what is the condition given here? Imaginary part. I'm inside this, I'm going to take only this value, that is 2z plus 1 divided by iz plus 1. In place of z, I'm going to replace the value as x plus iy. Like the first sum, I'm going to do my simplification. Just see, students, we are having the calculations. I have done it step by step. You're going to observe the calculation, and one thing, see here, if you are going to have I square, that is the value for I to the power 2 is minus 1. Whenever you are going to get that, wherever you are going to get I square, you are going to replace the value as minus 1. After replacing, just I am arranging the real part and imaginary part. Please arrange it properly. Take time to do the sum. If you do it carefully, you will understand the concept. You can easily identify wherever you are going to have the alphabet I. That means that is called as imaginary part, and the term without I is called as the real part. After bringing in this form, just see the denominator. What is the denominator I am having here? 1 minus y plus ix plus I. That is, if I want to take conjugate means, I am going to change the sign before imaginary part. What is the sign I am having here? Positive. So I am going to divide and multiply by negative. That is, just see here, 1 minus y minus ix. I am dividing and multiplying. That is, I am taking conjugate for the complex number. Simplify the terms. Denominator, if you see, I am having in this form. That is, a plus b into a minus b can be written as a square minus b square. Formula, that is algebraic formula, a square minus b square. In place of a, I am having it as 1 minus y. In place of b, I am having it as x. In place of b, I am having it as ix. So be clear. In place of b, I am having it as ix. So I am writing like that. That is a square minus b square, students. Can simplify the terms. Finally, you will be getting a term like this. You will be getting a big term like this. That is, you are going to see the calculation, students. I am not going to read it completely. Please understand the calculation, simplification you are going to do. I am going to just focus only on the imaginary part. Why I am going to focus only on imaginary part is, in my question they are given you as IM. You are going to calculate only the imaginary part. So what is the imaginary part I am having here? That is the term with I. Again I can write, just I will do one more step here. If I want to take the imaginary part alone, if I just observe the imaginary part here is, that is x 2x plus 1 plus 2y 1 minus y divided by denominator 1 minus y the whole square plus x square. That is, for real part and imaginary part, we will be splitting the denominator. So you will be getting this as your imaginary part. Given question, I am writing it as it is, students. Inside this only, till now we have done the calculation. Now I am taking only the imaginary part answer. After taking the imaginary part answer, I am getting like this. That is, if you see here, minus x 2x plus 1. That is, just see the simplification. I am taking only the imaginary part. Cross multiply the term. Denominator term will be vanished. If you see, you will be having only the numerator part. You are going to do the simplification, and after doing all the simplification, what the answer what is required in your question, you will get that particular answer. That is 2x square plus 2y square plus x minus 2y equal to 0.
See the definition of polar form. So what is polar form? Polar form is also known as trigonometric form. They will give you a complex number, students, that is z equal to x plus iy. If I convert this z equal to x plus iy as z is equal to r cos theta plus I sin theta, then I can say that is the polar form of a given complex number, and this is the definition given here, students. Euler form of a complex number. The following identity is known as Euler form, that is e to the power I theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. The Euler form can also be represented in polar form, that is z equal to r e to the power I theta.
Students, before starting with exercise 2.7 first sum, we are going to see how to convert a complex number in polar form. To convert a given complex number in polar form, we are going to use totally 6 steps here. That is, for your understanding, I have written like this, students. First, what I am going to do is, I am going to take a question, that is z equal to x plus iy. What is the meaning of polar form? Z equal to r cos theta plus I sin theta, and that is the definition given in your polar form. This is your question, students. Z equal to x plus iy. I am going to write like this, that is z equal to r cos theta plus I sin theta is nothing but, first I am going to write like this, x plus iy, that is x plus iy equal to r cos theta plus I sin theta. I am going to mark this as equation 1. So what I am going to find here is, I am going to find r and theta. So that is the procedure we are going to do here. So this is the first step, students. Keep this in your mind. Whatever question they are going to give you, you are going to write like this. Write the question in your left hand side, and right hand side you are going to write it in polar form, that is r cos theta plus I sin theta. The next work, I am going to find r and theta, and that is the procedure we are going to see in the following steps. Second, I am going to find r. The meaning of r is modulus. How to find r is, that is r equal to root of x square plus y square. You will get some value. You will be writing the value, students. That is r equal to root of x square plus y square. If you calculate, you will get an answer. Third step. Third, before finding theta, I am going to find alpha. I am not telling you more. Just for your understanding, I am just using only the notation, students. That is third, I am going to find alpha. What is the first step? First, I am writing the question as r cos theta plus I sin theta. Second, I am finding r using this formula, root of x square plus y square. Third, I'm finding alpha. This alpha is not given in your question. So keep this in your mind. I'm going to find alpha. Before finding theta, I'm going to find alpha. So what is the formula for alpha? Alpha is equal to tan inverse of modulus of y by x. Don't forget this, students, modulus of y by x. Suppose if you're going to get a negative sign inside, you will be converting into positive. So I'm going to use this one. Alpha is equal to tan inverse of modulus of y by x. Maximum you will be getting the value in this way. That is 30, 45 degree, 60 degree. What is the value for tan alpha? That is tan 30 degree means 1 by root 3. Tan 45 degree 1. Tan 60 degree root 3. This 30, 45 and 60 can be written like this. That is 30 degree can be represented like this, pi by 6. 45 degree means pi by 4. 60 degree means pi by 3. In place of alpha, maximum I will be getting only these values. Suppose if you are going to get a value like this, alpha is equal to tan inverse of 1 by root 3. What is the corresponding angle I am having here? 30 degree. This 30 degree can be written as pi by 6. This is the procedure you will be doing in your sum, students. Next, coming to fourth step. I am going to find theta. So how to find theta? First, what we find till now, we have found only R and alpha. Now I am going to find theta. But how I am going to find theta is, I am going to see the, in my question I am going to just check my x and y. That is, I am going to check the sign of x and y. Using x and y sign only I am going to find theta, students. That is, I am going to fix the quadrant where that z lies. I am going to have, totally I am going to have 4 quadrants here. That is first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant. I am going to convert this alpha into theta, and this is the procedure for finding theta. Suppose if x and y both the signs are positive means I can say z lies in first quadrant. Then how I am going to write this alpha? That is theta equal to alpha. Just you can keep this in your mind, students. You are going to memorize this concept, so it will be easy for you to do the calculation. You can understand and do it easily. Theta equal to alpha. If x negative and y positive means z lies in second quadrant, then I will be writing like this, theta equal to pi minus alpha. If x and y both are negative means z lies in third quadrant, theta equal to minus pi plus alpha. If x positive, y negative means z lies in fourth quadrant, that is theta equal to minus alpha, students. So what I am doing in the fourth step is I am converting this alpha value I am going to substitute in theta. That is how, this is a way of converting alpha into theta concept. That is, this is a way to find theta using this concept. Next, what I am going to do is, I am going to replace the values of r and theta. So what is the thing I told you, students? I am going to find r and theta. In between r and theta, I am finding alpha. Just fifth step, I am just replacing the values of r and theta in 1. After replacing, last step what I am going to do is, I am going to add 2k pi in the angle, which is in the angle. So I will be getting the required polar form. 2k pi, k is nothing but the value which belongs to z. So 2k pi, after adding 2k pi in the angle, I will get the required polar form. And now we are going to see the sums how to do in polar form in exercise 2.7, students. Exercise 2.7, second sum, students. That is, I am going to write this complex number in polar form. That is 3 minus I root 3. I am going to write in polar form. So what is the first step I am doing here, students? 3 minus I root 3 is equal to r cos theta plus I sin theta. This is the first step. And shall we write like this? I am going to mark this as equation 1, as I told you in the concept. What is the value for x? X is nothing but the real part. Y is the imaginary part. I am going to write the real part x equal to 3 and imaginary part minus root 3. So this is the concept, students. I am taking this plus 3 as x and minus root 3 as y. Next, I am going to find r. So what is the procedure for finding r? R is equal to root of x square plus y square. Substitute the value, students. You will get the value as 2 root 3. That is, you will get the value as root 12. After simplifying, I will be getting the values. It is better to simplify the terms. If the terms simplify the term, you will get the value as 2 root 3. So the value for r is 2 root 3. Next, by x. So what is the value for y I am having here? Minus root 3, minus root 3 and x 3. So keep this in your mind, students. Using this only we are going to substitute the values. I am having modulus here. This 3 can be written as root 3 into root 3. Cancel the root 3. Automatically you will get the value as tan alpha equal to 1 by root 3. That is, you can keep it as it is like this, or you can just bring this. Also, what is the value I am getting here is alpha is equal to tan inverse of 1 by root 3. After removing the modulus, it will be converted to positive. You can bring this tan here. If you bring it here, that is tan alpha is equal to 1 by root 3. Again, I am writing this 1 by root 3 as tan alpha is equal to tan 30 degree. You can do in any way, or just you can keep and you can find according to your convenient, you can find the value, no problem. What is the value for alpha I am getting here, students? That is, the angle is 30 degree. This 30 degree is nothing but pi by 6. Alpha is equal to pi by 6. So what is the value for alpha I am getting here? Pi by 6. Now I am going to find theta. So before finding theta, I am just checking here. That is, what is the sign for x here? I am having here, students, x, and the sign for x is positive and the sign for y is negative. So since 3 minus I root 3 lies in the fourth quadrant, what is the condition for fourth quadrant, student? X should be positive and y must be negative. That is the procedure. You know it very well. Lies in the fourth quadrant. It has a principal value theta equal to minus alpha. That is the condition for fourth quadrant. So what is the value for alpha I got here? Pi by 6. I am going to replace here. That is minus pi by 6. Since in the formula I am having negative, I am writing it as minus pi by 6. Theta equal to minus pi by 6. So after finding this one, I am replacing r and theta in equation 1. That is, from 1 I am going to write like this. For your understanding, I am writing like this, students. That is, from 1, I am just replacing the value 3 minus I root 3 is equal to r cos theta. Instead of r and theta, I am replacing the value. But that is not a final answer. To get a required polar form concept, you must add 2k pi in the angle. And that is your completing the sum in the polar form. That is, what is 3 minus I root 3? I have written in polar form. What is the polar form, students? 2 root 3 into cos 2k pi minus pi by 6 plus I sin 2k pi minus pi by 6, where k belongs to z. Exercise
2.7, third sum. If x1 plus iy1 etc. till xn plus iyyn equal to a plus ib. That is, they are given you the product of complex number equal to a plus ib, and they are asking you to show that. They are asking you to show two conditions. That is, the first one is they are given you as x1 square plus y1 square etc. till xn square plus yn square equal to a square plus b square. The second is in the form of summation they are given you.
Exercise 2.7, third sum. They are given you the product of complex number, that is x1 plus iy1 etc. till xn plus iyn equal to a plus ib. For the first question, I am going to take modulus on both sides. That is, left hand side and right hand side I am taking the modulus. For the left hand side, I am taking only one modulus, that is whole modulus equal to modulus of a plus ib. Second step, I am going to take the modulus separately for each complex number. That is, modulus of x1 plus iy1, modulus of x2 plus iy2 etc. till modulus of xn plus iyn equal to modulus of a plus ib. The formula what we are using for modulus of a real part plus imaginary part is root of real part the whole square plus imaginary part the whole square. So for each complex number modulus, I am going to take the square root. After taking the square root, I will be getting like this. That is, root of x1 square plus y1 square etc. root of xn square plus yn square equal to root of a square plus b square. To remove the squaring on both sides, we get the required answer which is given in your first part. That is, x1 square plus y1 square etc. xn square plus yn square equal to a square plus b square. Second question. What is the second question they are given here? They are asked you to prove. Again I am going to take the given condition, that is x1 plus iy1 etc. till xn plus iyn equal to a plus ib. For the second proof, what I am going to do is I am going to take argument on both sides. ARG is nothing but the short form of argument. Taking argument on both sides. For the left hand side I am taking only one argument equal to argument of a plus ib. Regarding the argument, remember this thing, argument of z1 into z2 can be written as argument of z1 plus argument of z2. After taking the argument, just see the second step. While I am multiplying the argument inside, each complex number will be added, that is argument of x1 plus iy1 plus argument of x2 plus iy2 plus etc. plus argument of xn plus iyn equal to argument of a plus ib. Again, argument of x1 plus iy1 plus argument of x2 plus iy2 plus etc. plus argument of xn plus iyn equal to argument of a plus ib. Again for argument I am going to have another one formula, that is argument of real part plus imaginary part can be written as tan inverse of imaginary part divided by real part. So for each argument I am going to write like this, that is tan inverse of y1 divided by x1 plus etc. till tan inverse of yn by xn equal to tan inverse of b by a. The left hand side, if you see, it is in the form of addition. That is, in general I can write like this. Addition can be written as summation, that is starting from 1 to n. That is tan inverse of y1 divided by x1 till I am getting yn divided by xn, that is summation r equal to 1 to n tan inverse of real part divided by imaginary part, that is yr divided by xr equal to 2k pi plus tan inverse of b by a, and that is the final answer for the second part.
Exercise 2.7, fourth sum. If 1 plus z divided by 1 minus z equal to cos 2 theta plus I sin 2 theta, show that z equal to I tan theta.
Exercise 2.7, fourth sum. What is the given question here? If 1 plus z divided by 1 minus z equal to cos 2 theta plus I sin 2 theta is the given condition, we are going to show that z equal to I tan theta. That is, I have to bring this answer, z equal to I tan theta is the answer what I should bring. So this is the given question for us. Left hand side and right hand side they are given you. To bring this answer, first what I am going to do is I am going to add 1 on both sides. Just see the step. I am just adding 1 on both sides. Be clear with the step. I am adding 1 on both sides. After adding 1 on both sides, second step, left hand side I am cross multiplying the term, that is 1 plus z plus 1 minus z divided by 1 minus z, just cross multiplying. And right hand side what I am doing is just I am making an adjustment. If you see, I am having only one imaginary part, that is I sin 2 theta. The remaining 2 belongs to real part. So I am writing like this. I am just writing the real part in the bracket, 1 plus cos 2 theta plus I sin 2 theta. Next step, simplify the term. 1 plus cos 2 theta. The formula for 1 plus cos 2 theta is nothing but 2 cos square theta plus sin 2 theta can be written as 2 sin theta cos theta. So this step is very important because we are using the trigonometric formula. After simplifying, just see this step. I am taking 2 cos theta outside. You can cancel 2 on both sides. After cancelling 2 on both sides, I am just cross multiplying the term. That is, I am going to bring this 1 minus z to my numerator. So what is the value I'm getting here? 1 minus z equal to 1 divided by cos theta into cos theta plus I sin theta. In this place, I'm going to take conjugate. That is cos theta plus I sin theta. Instead of plus, I'm going to divide and multiply like this. That is cos theta minus I sin theta. Divide and multiply. If you multiply, just see, I'm just going to do my calculations only on my right hand side part. Cos theta minus I sin theta divided by cos theta into, that is a plus b into a minus b. So this can be written as a square minus b square. So what is the value for I square here? The I square value for I square is nothing but minus 1. After doing this calculation, I will be getting like this: cos square theta plus sin square theta. Cos square theta plus sin square theta, trigonometric value, the value is 1. So the final, after simplification, I am getting the final value as 1 minus z equal to cos theta minus I sin theta divided by cos theta. So what is the answer I should bring here? Z equal to I tan theta. What I am going to do is, I am going to bring this z to my right hand side, and this term I am just shifting to my left hand side. Just interchange and write, you will get this step. That is z equal to simplification cos theta minus I sin theta divided by cos theta. Just remove the bracket. After removing, cos theta will be cancelled. If you see, the final value is I sin theta by cos theta, which is nothing but sin by cos is nothing but tan. Z equal to I tan theta.
Exercise 2.7, fifth sum. If cos alpha plus cos beta plus cos gamma equal to sin alpha plus sin beta plus sin gamma equal to 0, then show that, first question, cos 3 alpha plus cos 3 beta plus cos 3 gamma equal to 3 into cos of alpha plus beta plus gamma, and similarly for sin also they are given you. In this question, we are going to prove these two parts of the question simultaneously. While I'm doing the calculation itself, at the same time I'll be getting both the answers together.
Exercise 2.7, fifth sum. Cos alpha plus cos beta plus cos gamma equal to sin alpha plus sin beta plus sin gamma equal to 0 is the given condition. Here cos represents the real part and sin represents the imaginary part. Since in complex number we can write like this: z equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. Cos theta means a real part, sin theta is nothing but imaginary part. So a real part separately I am going to put 0, and imaginary part I am putting separately as 0, since it is the given condition. If you see here, I am having three angles, that is alpha, beta and gamma. What I am going to do is, I am going to join like this, that is cos alpha, sin alpha, cos beta, sin beta and cos gamma, sin gamma. That is, I am going to take three notations A, B and C. Let A equal to cos alpha plus I sin alpha. That is, I am just writing in the form of complex number. Cos alpha plus I sin alpha, B cos beta plus I sin beta, and C cos gamma plus I sin gamma. Coming to a property, that is, if A plus B plus C equal to 0, if A plus B plus C equal to 0, if this condition is satisfied, then I can say A cube plus B cube plus C cube equal to 3ABC. Using this property, I am going to bring the answer. First, I am going to check whether when I am adding A, B and C, whether I am getting the answer as 0. So, first what I am going to do is, I have done the calculation before, one step before, that is A plus B plus C. So, what is the value for A? Cos alpha plus I sin alpha. What I am doing here is, while I am writing itself, I am writing like this, that is real part plus imaginary part. Real part fully I am clubbing together, that is cos alpha plus cos beta plus cos gamma plus I imaginary part. If you see cos alpha plus cos beta plus cos gamma equal to 0 plus imaginary part is also 0 since it is the given condition. Automatically I am getting the value for a plus b plus c equal to 0. So I can come to the next part, that is if the property is satisfied, directly this condition will also be satisfied, that is a cube plus b cube plus c cube equal to 3abc. Since a plus b plus c equal to 0, I am directly using the property a cube plus b cube plus c cube equal to 3abc. Now what I am going to do is, left hand side also I am having the value, right hand side also I am having the value. Just see the notation A, B, C. I am using three notations on left hand side and right hand side. First I have fixed the value for A, B and C. That is A cos alpha plus I sin alpha, B cos beta plus I sin beta, C cos gamma plus I sin gamma. What I am going to do is, just I am going to replace A, B, C by those complex values. That is cos alpha plus I sin alpha the whole cube, and similarly it goes on for beta and gamma, equal to 3abc. 3 into cos alpha plus I sin alpha into beta values and gamma values. First you are going to take this one, cos alpha plus I sin alpha whole to the power 3. According to the De Moivre's theorem, what I am going to do is, the power can be written inside the angle, that is can be multiplied. I am going to bring this power, I am just going to multiply this power with alpha. Similarly, I am going to multiply this power with beta and gamma. See the next step, I have done like this, that is cos 3 alpha plus I sin 3 alpha plus cos 3 beta plus I sin 3 beta plus cos 3 gamma plus I sin 3 gamma equal to, left hand side I have completed like this. Right hand side what I have done is, I am using another one property which is applied in your book, and using that property I am just joining the real part, just adding the angles in the real part, cos alpha plus beta plus gamma plus I sin alpha plus beta plus gamma. After completing this step, you can multiply this 3 inside if you want. Overall I am going to have like this, that is I am just left hand side and right hand side I am going to compare the real part and imaginary part separately. So equating real part and imaginary part, I will get the required answer which is given in your book. Exercise 2.7, sixth sum. They are given you z equal to x plus iy and argument of z minus I divided by z plus 2 equal to pi by 4. Now first I am going to take the value inside the argument. What is the value given here? Z minus I divided by z plus 2. So what I am going to do here, students, I am going to take that one, z minus I divided by z plus 2. First in place of z I am going to replace the value as x plus iy. After replacing, I am going to arrange the real part and imaginary part. Just see here, students, I am arranging the real part and imaginary part in this way. After arranging, I am going to take the conjugate. How to take conjugate? That is, I am going to check my denominator. In the denominator, I am going to change the imaginary part sign. So divide and multiply by x plus 2 minus iy. After simplifying the terms, so this place you will be having in this form, that is a plus b into a minus b, which can be written as a square minus b square. Simplify the term. Finally, I will be getting a value like this. Again, this value can be rewritten. I will tell you how to write. I am taking the question, argument of z minus I divided by z plus 2 equal to pi by 4. Inside that argument, I am replacing this value equal to pi by 4. What I am doing is, in the denominator part, I am splitting the denominator part into two, for real part separately and imaginary part separately. How to identify the imaginary part is, wherever you are going to have I, that term I am taking and writing it separately, students. So this is going to be your real part and this is your imaginary part. Before doing the sum, just see here, Argument of a plus ib, that is real part plus imaginary part, can be written as tan inverse of b by a, that is imaginary divided by real. Argument, I am converting this argument using the formula, that is tan inverse of imaginary part divided by real part. This is imaginary part, students, that is you are having the imaginary part in fraction, and similarly real part also you are having in the form of fraction, equal to pi by 4. So tan inverse, denominator part will get cancelled, only the numerator parts will be having here. You will be getting the value like this, equal to pi by 4. This tan inverse, if I am going to bring it to my right hand side, I can write it as tan pi by 4. Tan pi by 4 is nothing but tan 45 degree, which is equal to 1. So in place of tan pi by 4, I am replacing the value as 1. Simplify the term, and the value which is necessary, which is given in your question, that is x square plus y square plus.
Exercise 2.8, fourth sum. They are given you the condition like this, students. If 2 cos alpha is equal to x plus 1 by x and 2 cos beta equal to y plus 1 by y, they are asking you to show these 4 conditions. First, we are going to find the value for x and y. Then we are going to come inside these 4 concepts. And now I am going to start the sum, and this is a question that is exercise 2.8 fourth sum we are going to solve now. So fourth sum, 2 cos alpha x plus 1 by x, and similarly same way 2 cos beta y plus 1 by y. So what is the difference between these two values is alpha, here you are having beta, x, y. If you take any one part is enough, just I have done the 2. If you take any one part of the calculation is enough, I am going to take this one. 2 cos alpha is equal to x plus 1 by x. Just I am rearranging left hand side, right hand side. I am just simplifying here, students. After cross multiplication, I am just getting a value like this, x square. That is quadratic form, I am getting x square minus 2x cos alpha plus 1 equal to 0. Here a equal to 1, b equal to minus 2 cos alpha, and c equal to 1. So I am going to use the quadratic formula, x is equal to minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. Solve by that way. After solving, you will be getting, that is in this place, cos square alpha minus 1. I am going to make some adjustment. That is, what is the adjustment I am going to make here is, students, sin square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. That is the property used in trigonometric identity. That is, instead of theta, I am going to use it as alpha. Sin square alpha plus cos square alpha equal to 1. Just I am going to write like this. If I shift this way means 1 minus cos square alpha. I can just make a small rearrangement, minus cos square alpha plus 1. After just I want to bring in this form, that is cos square alpha minus 1. While I am bringing in this form, I will be getting a value like this, minus sin square alpha. Instead of minus, that is minus 1, I am replacing the value as I square sin square alpha equal to cos square alpha minus 1. Instead of this, I am going to replace the value inside this square root. So after replacing, I can just cancel the square root, that is I sin alpha the whole square, root will get cancelled. The value is x is equal to cos alpha plus or minus I sin alpha. The same procedure is repeated for cos beta, that is y I am finding the value, cos beta plus or minus I sin beta. So from this plus or minus, I am just taking only the positive value. X is equal to cos alpha plus I sin alpha, comma, y is equal to cos beta plus I sin beta. X to the power m means cos alpha plus I sin alpha the whole to the power m. That is, using that Euler's formula, I can write like this. Just you can bring this power here inside the angle. That is cos m alpha plus I sin m alpha. Similarly for y to the power n also I am writing. For what purpose I am writing all these values? To calculate the 4 given questions, that is 4 given concept we are going to solve based on these conditions. First condition, x by y plus y by x is equal to 2 cos alpha minus beta. X by y, x, what is the value given here is cos alpha plus I sin alpha, and y also what is the value given here is cos beta plus I sin beta. I am just writing the value here, students, and we are going to use a property here, and that property is explained in your book. If you are going to get in the form of division means you're going to subtract the angles, that is alpha minus beta plus I sin alpha minus beta. That is the concept used here, and this is a property. Directly we are not writing like this. We are having a property condition. Based on that we are doing this particular calculation. Coming to this part, y divided by x, they are making an adjustment, that is equal to 1 divided by x by y. Reciprocal means, what is the thing we are doing here is, in place of addition they will be writing it as subtraction. That is only change we are going to have. They are going to add these two values. After adding you will get that particular answer. Second one, xy minus 1 divided by xy. Xy, multiply the value, students. Real part, we are not multiplying like usual multiplication, we are using the property. So just take your book and just see what is the property. We are having three properties. Using that three properties of polar form, we are using that condition here. Real part they are adding plus real part angle they are adding plus imaginary part angle. 1 by xy means middle, that is this sign will be changed, middle sign will be changed. Subtract the values. After subtracting you will be getting the answer. Similarly for x to the power n, third and fourth part also same model. You are going to just follow this method, students. What we have done in the first and second part, third and fourth you are going to try, and the same way you will be getting the answer. It is all based on the properties of polar form. Just go through the concept, students. So in this class we have completed the main concept, and based on that I have done few sums, students. Just understand properly and do well in your revision test. Thank you.